Welcome, everyone. It's a very special episode of The Buck Stops Here, the official program of MountainHallOfFame.com. And I'm, of course, Kirk Buchner, aka The Buck, with Chris Mouradian, my co-host on The Elevator Show, and among many other things that we're doing, because, my God, Chris, I think you've been absorbed into this orbit.
I've been on here quite a few times in the last few weeks. It's been a lot of fun though, so happy to join and thank you for the opportunity.
I've been enjoying this. Also to our conversations offline, it's been a lot of fun getting to know you.
Oh
But
yeah.
we're here to do our official Can-Am Hockey Connection as we're previewing sort of, and I have to say sort of, the second round. And I say sort of because as we're recording this, it is 3-1 on game one of the Toronto-Florida series. And that's where we're going to start. And as your former president, I'm the Canadian, so I can't say my former president. We have governors now. I don't know when that's going to come into effect. I hope it doesn't. No offense there to my American friend, but
Yeah, I'm with you there.
yeah. Today, ich bin ein Florida man.
I think we all are.
Went with that.
Yes.
Yeah. We're gonna look at Toronto versus Florida. Toronto is a team that I openly despise, even though I grew up in that area. It's not so much the Maple Leafs; it's a fan base that I've always hated. And if they win the whole thing, I'll be the first one to tip my cap and say, "All right, you got me." But I'm hoping that's not going to be this year. And again, as we mentioned, we're recording this on Cinco de Mayo, uh, and it's in the first period where Toronto's up 3-1. Going into this, both Toronto and Florida, they had scares. Well, Toronto had more of a scare with Ottawa. Florida took out Tampa Bay in 5. Florida's still the defending champions and the heavy favorite, even though Toronto's the higher seed.
Yeah, fair. You've been there, as Florida's been there. They kind of know the what to expect. They're still a very strong team, getting players back late in the season there after injury, added some talent and grit with Marchand from Boston. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, they may not have had the better record through the regular season, but I think they kind of improved their team at the deadline and are quite a formidable opponent for Toronto or whomever they may face going forward here.
Well, should they go forward? And it's sort of the case of the team that's been there against the team that feels like they're due.
Mhm.
There's 3 former Panthers on this Toronto team, including a very determined goalie in Anthony Stolarz. Uh, he's got his chance to shine in the shadow of Sergei Bobrovsky. Stolarz has been a lot better than any Toronto goalie they've had. And what I call, and you and I were talking about this before we hit record, the Auston Matthews era. So Toronto's got the team. They've got the best team they've had, better team I think than they had in '93 when they almost made it to the finals. I honestly believe that with the greatest sniper of this generation in Auston Matthews and just this loaded offensive talent, but they were always missing a goalie. They're not anymore.
Yeah, Stolarz had a really strong first round one there, able to hold off a determined Ottawa team that kind of learning as they're going along. Another young team that's making the playoffs now and going to try to make it a habit of making it back there now.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is kind of an interesting year for Toronto when you think about the unrestricted free agents they have on the forwards there. This could be a cup or bust here, and it may be bust even if they do win the cup with what happens after the season's over with salaries and everything else like that. So
Mhm.
this may be their last best chance for a while if they're unable to push past Florida and whomever comes out of the other series there in the East.
I totally agree with you on that. And Toronto, as I sort of said, I think last time we were talking about hockey in Canada, it's a weird dynamic. A lot of players don't necessarily want to play in Canada,
Mhm.
even if they're Canadian. You
Yeah.
might grow, like if you could be a Torontonian, you grew up loving everything about the Maple Leafs. Saying that, that's the be all and end all of that city, despite it being loaded with other teams. Montreal, it's even worse. Winnipeg, as we talked about before, has those issues. Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver. Florida's best player, Matthew Tkachuk, or most recognized player.
Sure.
I think Barkov is the best player personally, but overall,
Yeah, him or Bob. Yeah.
yeah, and regardless of whether I'm right, wrong, and you can agree or disagree, I think what we can agree on is in Miami, they can pretty much go a lot of places anonymous and still live the high life, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You're getting the best of both worlds, and you're not getting that weird hockey pressure.
Yeah,
As
sure.
I mean, there's a big reasons why it's been since 1993 that we've had a Canadian champion in the Stanley Cup. Oh, by the way, fellow Canadians, when you're sort of like reporting, you know what, we've always win because we always have a bunch of Canadians who win the cup. Fuck off. Same thing, and you know it.
It's not the same as bringing the cup back to Canada. And
Absolutely. And you can say that, well, like the Canadians sort of like have it because they have this one day. Like, it's not the same. None of this is the same. It just isn't.
no, you're right.
Yeah. I've got Florida in 7. And this is going to be, if Toronto gets through Florida, they're going to the final. I really believe that. If Toronto can get past Florida. Obviously, I'm hoping they don't, but I've got to call it the way it is. I sort of learned from our first round thing. I really wanted Toronto to lose to Ottawa. So I've got to do my predictions. I got to do this fair. Toronto, okay, Maple Leaf fans, some of you know that some of you are fucking obnoxious. I'm obnoxious, but this is my show, so I can do this. No? Hypocrite? I don't know.
Nah, it's all good.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Florida. I'll go one better. I'll go Florida in 6.
Okay.
Like I said, I think the experience of winning the cup last year, the players they've added, I think much like I felt that they were going to handle Tampa relatively easily in the first round, I think they're going to take Toronto's best punch here in the first period here of game 1. Whether they win or lose game 1, all they got to do is, you're never out of it until you lose it at home. I think if they steal one here this week in Toronto, come home, hold serve, then they're on their way.
Okay. Well, that brings us to Washington versus Carolina. Both teams also won a lot easier. Both won in 5. It was a fun series with Montreal, but I think we all knew how that was going to end. Carolina, New Jersey, again, a fun series, but we knew how that was going to end. And on paper, I look at this as a very even match. Both of them have game changers. We've got Ovechkin for Washington, who is defying age. Okay, he's only 39. I mean, like, you put him next to actually, who looks older, him or LeBron? That's an interesting question, huh?
Yeah, that's tough. Ovechkin's got the gray going, so I think you kind of see that and think he's older than he really is. But yeah, he's only 39. And I say only 39 as a 52-year-old. So
yeah. Well, LeBron's also got the multi-changing hairline.
yes.
Which, yeah, that it's fascinating how he does that. Kids, if after this, because you're going to watch this to the end, just like YouTube the video of where Anthony Davis is sort of like say, LeBron, like fix your hair, because he had some weird toupee going on, and it was flopping around up there.
Flopping, LeBron, never heard of that before.
I set you up, but I didn't even mean to. But that really, really well done. Also, check out. Have you ever seen Carlos Boozer when he did a spray on hair at one point?
I can't say I don't ever remember that. No.
Okay, check that out after. Carlos Boozer, fake hair. He just basically painted his head. It's colossally embarrassing. But anyway, both of these teams have a deep roster, and both have interesting flaws to me. I see this as going for Washington, Logan Thompson is the key to everything, their goalie. I really believe this. As deep as Washington is, I think Carolina's deeper. And they're more tested. Because I know that the Caps won in 2018, but they haven't done much since.
Mhm.
I got Thompson and Tom Wilson as the key to this. Carolina, because I know they're going back and forth with goalies, but their number two goalie in Peter, I'm blanking on his last name, Rakov, is pretty
Peter,
good.
Peter, that's all you gotta say. Peter, we know what you mean.
That's my middle name. So this one I think is going to be very, very interesting. It's a sleeper series to me because I think a lot of people in the hockey world, we're focused on Toronto, Florida in the East.
Mhm.
Don't sleep on this series. This is going to be great.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think this is going to be a fun series. I'm giving the edge to Carolina for one reason, and that's Rod Brind'Amour.
Mm.
One as a player has basically done everything as a coach besides win. I think he's going to be the factor that helps get Carolina past Washington probably in 7 games here.
Okay.
Carolina may obviously, it's kind of weird season with the where they got the trade for Rantanen and then found out he wasn't gonna be willing to sign a long-term contract or but wasn't very money or whatever the reason was. Ended up being able to move him on and still be able to keep the team strong, not kind of have to sell him at a discount. Um, I like their style. I like their play. Goaltending is going to be a key for both teams. But I think the Carolina defense a little bit stronger. I think offensively they match up pretty well with Washington on paper. Um, yeah, so I think I give it to Brind'Amour over Carberry.
Okay, I'm going to go. We're going to disagree on this one, I guess. I
Cool.
think as much as I'm praising Carolina and I'm looking forward to watching the series when it begins, I've got Washington winning this in seven. Uh, they struggled on the penalty kill against Montreal, and I think they took them very lightly. They're not going to do that again in terms of Carolina. They're going to man up, elbows up, as we're seeing a lot in Canada. I say we're seeing a lot in Canada. I'm in Seattle
It's almost Canada.
in more ways than one. Insert joke there, kids. But I think we're going to have a Washington, Florida East. That's what I believe. Either way, I think this is going to be the sleeper series. And I feel like like a lot of people are sleeping on Carolina. I really do. I think Carolina is one of those teams that they're just lying in the weeds waiting to pounce.
Yeah, they're a very talented team that kind of, as you described with Toronto,
Mhm.
no fishbowl in Carolina. I mean, their players can walk down the street and go to the grocery store and complete anonymity down there.
Yeah, do
Um,
they still have two Sebastian Ahos?
I know there's two Sebastian Ahos in the league. I'm not sure if they're both with Carolina.
Oh, okay, yeah, the other one I think was with New York. So with the Islanders, which is again crazy to me. Uh,
Hey,
Speaking of the Islanders, before we
two
went on,
Elias, two
yeah,
Elias Petterssons in Vancouver. Come on.
right. I love that. I like also too how you sort of like said me, okay, the NHL draft is rigged. Well, maybe. I was
Well,
focusing on
okay,
myself being a nerd because I watched it, not understanding the goddamn algorithm of what the hell I was watching.
okay. So you tell me that the team that Bettman has put his entire career based on, the Phoenix Coyotes, Utah Mammoth, or whatever the hell they're being called nowadays,
Should
just
be
happens to jump from 15 to 4, the best they could do, just because the ping pong ball fell their way. Bullshit.
there was a lot of us in Canada saying the same thing about Bedard landing in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. You know, he wants to flee Chicago, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see how his mom's doing. But anyway, uh,
Yeah, it won't be heading up to Edmonton.
no, I guess not. I guess not. Hey, you know what?
Maybe you will.
Since we're at Bettman, let's just say this. In Canada, we hate Gary Bettman, and the long belief is that he just doesn't want to Canada succeed in the NHL. His big push has always been and has been pushing the NHL in the United States.
Yeah, specifically the Sunbelt.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to give him his props because, like, right now, and I can't believe I'm saying this, he's probably one of the best commissioners of the Big Four. Because if you look at his tenure, here's what he wanted to do. He did it.
Phoenix, he just couldn't figure that market out, and that's more the stadium situation than
That was the city issue. Yeah.
it was city stadium, yeah,
Yeah.
location, yeah.
Yeah.
But they just couldn't get that figured out. He's not going to give up on it. There'll be a team back there again, and Atlanta, they just can't find
Well,
a
no,
way to support
Atlanta,
it.
they should give up. I
Yeah.
mean, that deep South area, Atlanta, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana.
That's football country down there. That's
Yeah, it's just not going to work there. If don't, there's no third time's a charm shit with hockey there. And Atlanta, let's be blunt, guys. You're a football, mostly college football city. That's what you love. Great.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot of point trying that one again. Maybe in 20 years, I don't know, but I don't think so. But that whole area is just this dead region. But the fans in Nashville are fantastic. Charlotte, Raleigh, we see that they're great. Dallas,
Florida, both teams.
yeah, Florida. They're, my God. I mean, think about this, Chris. So let's say that you and I go back into our time machine, right, in our DeLorean, and it's 1974, and we're in Miami. And because we wanted to stay true to our wives, we're not cheating on people who would be 80 years old by the time we come back.
Right, exactly.
Okay, I shouldn't have went that way, but anyway, let's go on with that. And we were sort of like we're going to a Dolphins game. We said, you know what? We're really happy we're here, but it's really sorry that you're never going to see them win a Super Bowl the next 50 years. What are you talking about? But hey, guys, it's okay. It's okay. You're going to win the Stanley Cup and the NBA championship soon. We don't have a team. Also the World Series. Actually, shit, that's true. So the Marlins have won 2. The Panthers won. And the Heat 3. Since that,
yeah.
That's 1974 Miami Dolphins fan would be going. Huh?
And you'll have the best quarterback in the NFL for a while.
And didn't win anything.
Miami, Tampa, they can't figure out how to draw people to baseball games, but they can draw them to hockey games.
I can't say anything about where the location of the Miami Stadium is. Looks interesting, but the Tampa one, I hear from what I can see, is a dump in an awful place.
Yeah, it might. The roof might need a little work on it. I don't know.
Wait, no, they're playing at a.
They're playing at the Yankees spring training site. They're probably selling out. I mean, come on.
Oh, well, there you go. Put a banner up. We had the most sellouts of the year.
Yeah, no, I have big plans for baseball when I take over it involves moving Tampa Bay to Charlotte and contracting Miami. So we'll get that figured out. Don't worry.
You got big plans for you latching onto this public figure here. Huh?
Just wait.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, because I'm such a drunk, you'll take it over from me. I'll be dead soon. But anywho, Winnipeg versus Dallas.
Wow. Neither one of this series cannot live up to either one of the first round series.
Sure can. In the NHL playoffs, absolutely you can. But
tying goal with less than 2 seconds to go, and then double overtime game winner in Game 7.
Here's how I already had a Twitter post ready. It was like 5 paragraphs long, and it was ready to sort of go. Just saying how Connor Hellebuyck deserves some blame, but not all of it. The defense in front of him, Scheifele's injury, Morrissey out.
Morrissey, yeah.
Strange choices overall. Kyle Connor, who might be the James Harden of hockey, just in terms of where's your defense, dude? But because he didn't have a whole lot of. I had it ready to go. Pause. Oh, delete. Okay, I'll have to rewrite it. I will. But I mean, either way, I was massively emotionally invested. Nobody needed this more than Connor Hellebuyck, obviously, because he's going to win the Vezina. but you win 3 Vezina trophies, and then you choke two big years in a row.
Yeah.
And he choked. It wasn't completely his fault, but there was some going on there.
Well, getting pulled 3 times in St. Louis.
Mhm.
That's Roberto Luongo Chicago stuff from back in
Yeah.
the early 2010s.
And it was all those yanking was deserved.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's going to be a fascinating series, and both teams are lucky they're facing each other because both are hurt, both are spent. One of these teams needs to win this quickly. Probably it's going to be Dallas. I hate to say it as a Jets fan.
Yeah, no, when Dallas came back on Colorado there, my initial thought was, okay, they're kind of a team of destiny here. They're gonna make it through to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And then Winnipeg happened. And it's like, well, shit. Now they're a team of destiny. It's like 2 teams of destiny. Which one's gonna win out here? So I like Ottinger.
Love
I
them.
like the way his game is right now compared to Hellebuck. Hellebuck had the better season. Ottinger's had the better playoffs so far.
Yeah, Hellebuck's going to have to do a hell of a lot better. That wasn't an intentional simile there. But and look at who Dallas has sort of potentially coming back, who seem to be in better shape, and that's Robertson and Heiskanen.
Yeah.
Shifley and now Morrissey. It's undisclosed injuries as we're recording this for how they're going to, I guess, start the series on Wednesday. That extra day is key. And it's so big for Winnipeg not to have to travel.
Well, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were. Anyway, but yeah.
So good. Yeah.
So I think they were sort of lucky there. Dallas is a heavy favorite. I can see why. If I can, I want to give a little bit of props to Jason Robertson. I had an acquaintance of mine in Winnipeg. Robertson is half Asian,
Mhm.
and a couple of years ago, he took the time when he was in Winnipeg to meet up with the Filipino hockey schools in Winnipeg. I don't know
Very
if
cool.
Robertson is part Filipino, but I mean, still, I mean, like he made a point to do that, and the acquaintance who I know, she has 2 kids in hockey, so I mean,
Made
that's
an impression.
classy
Yeah, that's
for him to sort of like do that in Winnipeg. Useless fact for you: Winnipeg is the second largest Filipino population outside of Philippines. Toronto being number 1. Number 2 is Winnipeg. Didn't know that, did you?
I did not.
Who would? Well, only the people who have Filipino Heritage Night at a Jets game. But yes,
Yeah.
that happens. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with your thoughts there on the series. I'm still leaning Dallas.
Mhm.
I Getting those 2 players back is huge. Not sure they're coming back 100%, but they're coming back enough to play in the playoffs. And to be honest, nobody's 100% right now. Those are key adds to a Dallas team that needs them. Dallas is kind of one of those teams that have been there knocking on the door the last few years. They're ready to take that next step, I believe. Ottinger's game has elevated as he's become more experienced, especially through the playoffs here. They didn't give up when they easily could have. Game 7 there, they fought back and are now in the second round. So I like their team makeup. I like the fact that they're getting some players back as opposed to Winnipeg that's maybe having to navigate here at least a game or 2, possibly longer without some of their key players. I think it's just kind of setting up a little bit nicer for Dallas. I would put this as a Dallas in 6 kind of scenario.
Yeah.
And at least I know you're the Winnipeg guy, and
I hate agreeing with you, but that's my prediction. And the best player right now on the ice is Mikko Rantanen. We haven't even talked about him yet.
oh yeah, the series he had there against the team he started the season with. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
And he could potentially end it with against the team he played with.
That would be quite the journey for him.
It totally would. It would be the double fuck you. It's a double Stone Cold Steve Austin there.
Double bird.
The double bird, yeah. I mean, like, I hate saying Dallas in six. I'm going to go with the logic here. I hope I'm wrong. And luckily, I'm wrong a lot. Hey, I just want to give my props out here, though, too, though. For my Binnington versus Hellebuck, I kind of went 2-0 for this. I got, don't you think?
Yeah, unfortunately, for us, Hellebuck won the game.
No, you're 0-1-1. You didn't have a dog in that fight with the Jets Blues.
No, but losing if he was going to win one of those two series, yeah, I'd rather be the Four Nations. But
Mhm.
yeah,
I had an interesting thing though while I was watching that, and I think you and we both went in, you less than me, kind of apathetic towards the Four Nations Cup.
mm-hmm.
But I gotta say, man, once it's sort of weird again, the Canadian and people watching this, but you got the USA thing right behind you. Well, that was the greatest. That's the Team USA replica from 1980 Lake Placid. I have no shame in owning one of those.
That's right.
Absolutely. But so at least I have that, which is about as worthwhile as that President's Cup banner that I don't want to see. Even if we win the whole thing, I don't want to see it. Stupid.
Yeah, those they start to grow stale real quick when you don't have the Stanley Cup banner next to them.
Oof. Got that right. Well, that concludes us with Vegas Edmonton. I'm trying to remember. We both picked LA, didn't we?
Yeah, we did it. Yeah.
So Edmonton against another deep team, an experienced team. Vegas, it was a little easier for them. Minnesota did not come to snuff like I thought they would.
No, they didn't. Kind of disappointed with the way they played that series there.
Yeah.
Thought it would be a lot more physical than it turned out to be. I don't know if it's just a lack of experience or with Minnesota. They do have a lot of young players, and kind of a lot of them are not playoff proven. But they had a fantastic season. They definitely belonged there. I thought they put up more of a fight than they did. They'll learn from it and be better next time around for their sake and their fans' sake. But Vegas is just a damn good team too. I mean, they could have very easily just neutralized Minnesota more so than we think.
And they know what to focus on right now. They've got and I've said this last time we did a preview, and I'll say it again. Edmonton has the best 1-2 of any NHL team by far in Draisaitl and McDavid. It's not even close, putting any teams 1 and 2 against them. But the 3 on is always an issue. Evander Kane coming back was sort of good. Just don't let him gamble, and he's okay. But yeah, I could do other jokes on Evander, but anyway.
Yeah, he's kind of a best left to the imagination.
In many ways, yes. Although I am a fan of the guy. I mean, like, I want to see him succeed after sort of like failing early in some things. Like, you still have time. You still have time. But it's a battle between Edmonton's speed, because they're the quickest team in the league, against a gritty team that just knows what to do.
And late in the season, I got to see Vegas in a not really very competitive environment against Vancouver late in the season, and they looked so much faster than Vancouver out there. Every aspect of the game. It'll be interesting to see how that matches up against Edmonton, as you described, with the players like McDavid that can just melt the ice with his speed there.
And that's the fascinating thing when we talked about this last year. McDavid, along with Draisaitl, but really McDavid, willed a team that should not have been to the Stanley Cup Finals to 1 game away from hoisting that cup. He's that effing good.
Mm-hmm.
And again, while he's got like a former Hart Trophy winner with him, a Hart Trophy nominee as his teammate, Could we be looking at the best guy in hockey history never to win a cup? Potentially. Like I'm
I
trying
mean,
to.
there's always the potential for it. I think,
I mean, right now, I'd say he is, even with
yeah,
the history of everybody who ever played.
as of today, yes, you could say that. Whether he retires that way or not, I think there's a lot to be said. If they can't get past second round, third round, whatever, to the finals here, ever get kind of regress back here from last year. And like you said, maybe last year was a fluke. Maybe they're not really a cup finals team yet. Maybe they just got there by happenstance,
But it's the
having
same team. It's the same
it,
team, so they're going to have to sort of like carry everything there. I mean, much like Connor had to do that for Team Canada. When we did our Four Nations Cup preview, you and I were both in agreement. And I'm sorry, my Canadian friends, but on paper, depth-wise, the U.S. has our number now. They just do. And Connor said,
Connor and Jordan. Yeah.
Well, yes, but
Yeah, don't give me that look there. Bennington had stoned Austin Matthews how many times in overtime there? Like at least two, maybe three times.
I'm just trying to give the proper praise to Connor right now. But
All right, we're talking Edmonton. All right,
all
you
right,
can
fair, fair. Okay, you're not wrong. Just like when you sort of like put me in my place earlier, like, okay, fine, you're not wrong. But yeah, here we are with the most fascinating team to me in the last few years. Edmonton and Toronto are fascinating to me because Toronto because they're just a goalie away, Edmonton because they're just willed, also a goalie away, just willed to places that they should not have been. Can they do this again? I mean, like the experts say no. Most experts have Vegas. I bet against them last time. Do I do this again? Man, I don't know. I really
I'm
don't.
not. I'm not betting against Vegas.
I'm not. I can't either. It's just a different team that has been there, knows what to do. Yeah, I mean, I've got Vegas in 6.
I think Vegas goaltending is the X factor in this one. We know that McDavid is going to do everything in his power with Draisaitl and whomever's on the other wing there, Hyman or whomever it is, to push Edmonton as far as he can.
Mhm.
I just don't know if their goaltending between Skinner or
Mhm.
Pickard is going to be enough to stop a very talented Vegas team. I mean, it's going to kind of be like back in the 80s with Grant Fuhrer.
Mhm.
Can the Edmonton Oilers outscore their own goaltending and their own defense?
Yeah, but Grant Fuhrer was a level above.
Definitely a level above what
Yeah.
they're currently running out there, but it is the same kind of scenario though too. Back then, Edmonton outscored their opponents more than to win the games as opposed to being able to clamp down and deny a team a win.
Yeah, and in a boxer sort of point of view, basically it's like, okay, well, I'll let you get a few shots at me, but my shots are gonna hit more.
Yeah.
For every 2 shots you're gonna get at me, I'm gonna get 3. And I'm okay with my guy doing enough, just enough. And that which was a lot of faith that they had to have in Grant Fuhrer for that type of style.
Mhm.
Almost like going back to my beloved Saints, when they won the Super Bowl. Wasn't a great defense, but it's like, okay, well, all right, you're gonna get 30 on me, but we're gonna put 35 on you. And that's you could do that because they had just enough firepower on the
Mhm.
back end with a certain player in jail that we can't mention anymore. But anyway, yeah. So it's sometimes players just get hot. Goalies get hot. There's some mediocre goalies who have a Stanley Cup ring. So yeah, we'll see. This is I don't know where we're gonna go with this after. I can't wait till we're doing the next one. I'm so happy though that the first round ended completely before the second
Because
round began.
yeah,
NBA, we didn't have that, but at least we had that. Either way, random thought. Here we are, and I asked this to a lot of basketball fans, of which I'm one. How do you watch basketball playoffs over hockey playoffs right now? It's pretty damn hard. Because even in a crap game, if someone team's going to win 7-0, you know that you're going to get a scrap at the end of the game.
or three.
Yeah, exactly. It's fascinating to me, just the shift. I mean, which is also why I think that the U.S. is going to dominate a lot more in hockey. Because I think there's going to be a lot more young kids in the U.S. watching what we've seen. Okay, you just shook your head, and I think you're 2 seconds ahead of me. I heard the horn, so Toronto just scored.
Hey, a former Canuck, Chris Tanev. What do you expect? That's been my fun. This whole first round was picking out the former Canucks on every team, including the coach of Ottawa.
Mhm.
So
A pro Canuck, you're the worst American ever.
hey, I'm gonna have my Tim Hortons coffee and call it a night here.
Sounds like a plan. I'm just gonna like find some Jack Daniels because that's banned in Canada. Oh, you think I'm kidding? I'm not. But anyway. Anywho, with that, this brings the show to a close. Wherever you are, wherever you may be, make today count and check out everything else that we do here in the Buchnerverse. Take care, everybody.
Good night.